Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, here on this Tuesday morning. Hope you're having a great day. Talking to you about you and your business, and we have a lot more to continue to talk about. Every week we bring in Charles ALvarez. He's a sales and marketing coach extraordinaire. I consider him really a thought leader when it comes to sales and marketing, and delighted to be able to have his insights here on the program. He's helped companies that I am personally involved in and has really literally turned those companies around. I've seen it firsthand, and so I can always recommend him without reservation, always enjoy his guests that he brings on the program. Charles, tell us a little bit more about Cornerstone Business Academy. That's cornerstonebusinessacademy.com. And then introduce your guest for us today.
Sure, Kevin, and thank you very much for your kind words. We basically work with businesses to do three things: generate more sales, and or generate more leads and close more sales, so that David Preng can go out there and find executives to manage all that growth. So, David, welcome to the show.
Hi there. How are you? Thanks, Charles.
Glad to have you on the show, David. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I am a person who grew up northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. After undergraduate, hired on with Shell Oil in their central marketing region, did an MBA at night. They moved me down here in the early 70s, and in 1974 I got into the executive search profession. With a local firm, then with a major international firm. Then 1978 was recruited to run the global energy search practice for a European firm, and in October 1980 started Preng and Associates.
Very good, very good. Go ahead, Charles.
So, Dave, tell us a little bit about your firm and kind of what you bring to the marketplace that, quite simply, your competitors don't.
Well, Preng and Associates, as I said, was formed in October of 1980, and what I tried to do was to create what I wanted to become the leading international executive search firm dedicated solely to the energy industry, with our mission being to help clients identify, qualify, and attract executives who make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're in the Houston area, by the way. You're an international firm, offices in Europe as well as here in the U.S., but you are corporately located here in Houston.
That is correct. Yeah, we have offices here and in London at this time.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Charles?
So, David, what are some of the challenges that you're finding your prospects are having in the marketplace, and how is Preng and Associates uniquely positioned to address those issues?
Well, the biggest challenge today is finding the executive talent that's needed to basically succeed and create value for shareholders. If you look back at what has happened in the energy industry with the downturn in 85, 86, you had almost a drying up of talent, and when I speak of talent, those with petroleum engineering or geoscience degrees coming out of the universities. An example of that, in the early 80s, 80 to 84, the University of Texas was graduating on just petroleum engineering undergraduates, just take that, approximately 110 to 125 a year. In the 90, 91 time frame, give or take a year or two around that, their average graduation class was about 9 petroleum engineers. In fact, as late as 2001, I happened to have been in New York during 9/11 and drove back with the chairman of a company out of Fort Worth called Quicksilver. And I had asked him, how did you get into the Antrim Shale up in Michigan? And he said that they were able to do this because they recruited a gentleman out of Shell Oil, and they were able to get him by setting up 3 half scholarships in his name at the University of Texas, his alma mater.
Wow.
Interesting, on the way back, we're driving in a vehicle, and he said to me that the incoming class in September of 2001 was that 1/3 of the class had Quicksilver scholarships. In essence, the incoming class as late as 2001 in geology at UT only had 9 students entering that curriculum.
Wow, that's incredible. And that's one of the things that, unemployment remains really still very high, Great Depression highs, especially when you consider the huge number of people who have simply given up on searching for a job. But at the same time, it's really difficult to find highly qualified people in certain industries, yours being one of them.
Very much so, very much so. And one of the advantages that we have is that by dedicating ourselves solely to energy industry, we are able to understand the industry, its strategies, its emerging trends, understand what companies are doing what, and who within those companies are making the difference. If you look at it, someone said 2 things make a company go, people and capital, and good people will get capital. And it's our focus on that, knowing where these people are, the network that we've created in our 34 years as Preng and Associates, I think puts us apart from all our competition.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. Charles?
So, David, kind of tell us what makes for a good executive search firm versus another one. I mean, I know that you've got 1 or 2 competitors out there. In your experience, how should I be able to discern picking one recruiting company over the other?
Well, when you look at a firm, you have to say what type of. Let me back up a second. When you give an executive search to someone, it's that person who is going to be your representative out in the marketplace. And they need to understand your company, your culture, your strategy, your business model, and be able to translate that into a value proposition for an individual to get him to move. Most of the people, the vast majority of the people that we're dealing with in executive search are currently employed, head down, tail up, moving forward. And what we have to do is to be able to get to them and to create interest in them. And it's understanding, again, your client, understanding, the people, where they are, understanding where they are in their careers so that you can put that kind of like that grain of sand in the oyster to start creating the pearl to get a person to move from a good position into hopefully a better one with your client.
Yeah. By the way, a great segment, by the way. I really appreciate you spending time talking to us here today. And you can learn more about our guests at Preng, P-R-E-N-G, Preng and Associates. Preng, Preng.com, Preng.com. And our guest has been David Preng. Thanks for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. Have a great day.
You too. Charles, your final thoughts before I let you go?
I tell you, finding the right people, especially at the top, which sets the strategy and basically the tone for the corporation is huge. And I highly, highly recommend Preng & Associates to find that next executive to get you to the next level.
Very good. Thanks to both of you gentlemen.
Thank you.
You bet. When we come back, much more for you on tomorrow's program. Do want to remind you, between now and tomorrow, you can get our best content over at usdailyreview.com. While they're like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. You've been listening to The Price of Business.